Hey everyone, hope everyone out there is doing good. I just wanted to sit down real quick and have a conversation with you about a movie that is from the 80s and that's often overlooked and shamelessly pulls from other films, but pulls it off really well, in my opinion. Today, I want to talk to you about the movie Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night II. Real quick, I just want to warn everyone that I am going to spoil this movie from beginning to end, top to bottom, and I really would love it if you watch this movie. Don't just watch this video and be like, okay, he told me everything and I'm good. Like, go watch this movie first, come back, sit down, and watch what I have to say about this film because this movie really is fun, and I think it deserves your viewing. This movie was made back in 1987. It was directed by Bruce Pittman, and it was written by Ron Oliver, who would then go on the next year and make the movie Prom Night III, The Last Kiss.
This movie stars Michael Ironside, Wendy Leon, Lisa Scragg, and Louis Ferreira.
With that out of the way, let me tell you what this movie is about. The film opens up on a prom party back in 1957. A balding, down-and-out, middle-aged accountant turned high school senior is with his date Mary Lou Maloney. She ditches him and starts to get frisky with another man. The balding, middle-aged student is hurt and finds a stink bomb in the bathroom. Meanwhile, Mary Lou wins prom queen. While she's on stage, the middle-aged student climbs up above the stage, lights the stink bomb, and throws it down. The flames catch her dress on fire, and she burns to death while everyone there watches. The film then cuts to 30 years later, in 1987. The balding middle-aged senior is now the principal of the school and is played by Michael Ironside. The other guy that stole Mary Lou from him is now a priest. We now get to see the main character of this story, Vicky Carpenter. She's a devout Catholic girl whose religious and controlling mother won't let her get a new dress for prom. She's also dating the principal's son, Craig. Since Vicky can't buy a new dress for prom, she goes to the prop room in the theater department in school in search for a new dress. While there, she finds Mary Lou's tiara and other items, thus awakening Mary Lou. And now she starts to haunt the school and slowly possess Vicky. Okay. Here's what happens next, and honestly, what follows for the rest of the film is quite surprising. The movie surprises you and subverts your expectations all the way to the end of the film. Vicky's friend is altering Mary Lou's items, and she is removing one of the gems off of Mary Lou's tiara, which angers her and causes her to attack Vicky's friend. So Mary Lou hangs her, and you're like, okay, they're gonna make it look like that she committed suicide by hanging, and then they're gonna be like, okay, and then there's like a story as a reason why, because she was very upset. But then all of a sudden, Mary Lou then throws her out the window, and so everyone thinks that Vicky's friend committed suicide by jumping out the window, which I think could have just been the kill right there. I don't know. They went through like 3 different stages. You thought that she was gonna get her head cut off, then she gets pulled up to the lights, and you're like, okay, I guess this scene's over. And it's like, nope, then she's thrown out the window. But yeah, everyone thinks it's a suicide. No one thinks of any sort of foul play. Everyone's upset. So after the death of her friend, Vicky is very upset. And she starts having these hallucinations, or she believes these are hallucinations. This is another element that they pull from A Nightmare on Elm Street, where she just starts seeing things, and like the room starts changing. And she thinks she's hallucinating. The rocking horse in her room, which is this crazy looking rocking horse, comes to life. Its eyes like look at her, and she shouts at it. And eventually she comes to realize that she's not hallucinating. She believes that she is being haunted by Mary Lou's ghost. She then goes to the cemetery and confronts Mary Lou's gravestone. So it's nighttime, there's no one around, and she's in the middle of the cemetery, just standing in front of this gravestone, all by herself. The priest shows up and is like, Vicky, what are you doing here? What I thought Vicky was going to say, because it's kind of odd that the priest is there, Vicky should have then said, Father, what are you doing here? It's kind of funny that he finds her in the middle of the cemetery. So these two people just in the middle of the night, just standing in this big open cemetery. She's just standing in front of Mary Lou's grave. And Vicky is very upset and she ends up leaving. So after that, she goes on with her days and she keeps having hallucinations. And she actually slaps the mean girl in the face. There's this character who's like mean to her throughout the movie. She slaps her in the face. She gets sent to detention. The teacher leaves the room. She sees that there's some writing on the chalkboard and she's drawn to it. So she gets up, goes to the chalkboard, and this is a really neat effect, special effect in the movie. She gets pulled into the chalkboard. So the way they do it is the wall with the chalkboard is on the floor. There's the teacher's desk and all the elements are bolted to the side wall of this room. And the camera is on the ceiling looking down. So it looks like the gravity in this room is pulling toward the chalkboard. So she gets pulled into the chalkboard. And it's a really cool effect. After this scene, this is when the movie gets crazy. Up until this point, it was a completely different movie. It was like kind of fun, like, oh, it's fun and campy and silly. There's a bunch of friends and like, oh, okay, there's some ghosts and haunting around and stuff. And you thought it was gonna be like that to the end of the movie. And it's like, nope. After this point, the movie gets like really dark and actually quite serious and quite grim. This is like the turning point in the story. From this point on in the movie, Vicky is no longer Vicky. She is Mary Lou in Vicky's form. Then Mary Lou disguises Vicky, goes to the church, goes into the confessional, and speaks to Father Cooper, who was her fling back in 1957. Eventually, Father Cooper realizes who it is, and he is terrified. Mary Lou disguises Vicky, breaks through the wall in the confessional, and murders Father Cooper. And she goes to school the next day, and this is a scene that has a bunch of nudity. Her friend is in the locker room going to shower, and she decides to join her friend in the shower. So you got like two naked women. Mary Lou, disguised as Vicky, just starts kissing and getting very touchy with Vicky's friend. And, she's like weirded out by it. And then Mary Lou / Vicky gets very aggressive. And Vicky's friend is scared and runs, leaves. And she's trying to escape the locker room, but she can't, it's locked. So she ends up hiding in one of the lockers, and Mary Lou, disguised as Vicky, is like walking around, looking for Vicky's friends. And then she finds a locker she's in, and then this is another cool special effect in the movie. She just stands there, looking at the locker, and she uses telekinesis and squishes the lockers together and crushes her friend. And you see a bunch of like ground beef falling out of the holes in the locker. It's a really neat effect. And it's also like another visual effect you wouldn't expect from this movie, Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night II. So next, Mary Lou, who is disguised as Vicky, gets very handsy with Craig and then just starts hurting him and then ends up knocking him out. Next, she goes into the principal's office, gets very touchy with him, reveals that she's Mary Lou. Obviously, Bill, the principal, is very upset by this. Then reveals that she knows that Craig is his son and makes him feel very uncomfortable, and she leaves. This scene then leads to when Bill is at home with his son Craig. Basically, Craig's facing a different direction, and Bill knocks his son out. He cracks him over the back of the head and knocks him out completely to prevent him from going to prom. He hits him really hard. He whacks him on the back of the head. I'd say he did more damage than what Mary Lou did in a scene earlier. Okay, so it's prom night. Vicky's rocking on this crazy rocking horse that has come to life. It's got its tongue out. Its eyes are all evil. Her dad walks into the bedroom, super happy, super proud of her daughter. He walks in telling her this touching story of how when he was in high school, he saved up money so he can take her mom to prom. And then Vicky stands up, obviously Mary Lou in Vicky form stands up, grabs her father, and just starts making out with her. And Vicky's dad didn't necessarily dislike it. He was kind of into it. And Vicky's mom walks in and is like, oh my God, what is happening here? And then Vicky's father's like, oh my God, oh. And he's like so upset and so ashamed he doesn't move. The argument between Vicky and Vicky's mom takes place outside the room. Vicky's mom's like, you're not going anywhere. You need to repent for your sins. You need to repent for what you have done. And this is where Mary Lou, in Vicky's form, uses telekinesis and throws her mom through the front door of the house. And she leaves. And this whole time, Vicky's father is up in the bedroom. He is probably so ashamed of himself that he does not run down after he hears the crazy commotion of his wife being thrown through the front door of the house. Also, I want to point out that there is a moral to this story. If there is one thing that you learn from this movie, it is you do not be a crazy, controlling religious mother. If Vicky's mom allowed her to go to the mall to buy a new dress, none of this would have happened. So that's the lesson to be learned. Don't be a crazy, controlling parent. It didn't work out for the mom in Carrie. It certainly didn't work out for the mom here in this movie. And it probably won't work out well for you either. Okay, real quick. This movie puts all these sorts of like fun and crazy things in the story while everything unfolds. So now we're at prom. Vicky's rival, who got slapped in the face earlier, she goes to the computer room, bribes Vicky's friend, who is counting the votes of who will be prom queen. Basically, she pays his fee and she blows him. Then she puts mints in her mouth, goes back to the prom. Her boyfriend, who we established earlier, is completely drunk, runs up and starts just kissing her. And she's pushing away. And he's like, oh man, you got mints? Give me some. And that's the thing. The filmmaker and writer put these fun little moments in this movie as this crazy story unfolds to keep you entertained. Okay, so Vicky's friend just got blown and was like, woo! And he's like, sorry, Vicky. And he starts changing the outcome of who won prom queen on the computer. Mary Lou in Vicky's form senses this somehow, touches some like wire in the wall, and then I guess sends some electrical current. That's the thing, this movie has some like really crazy deaths in it. She sends like electrical current through this wire, and so Vicky's friend is on the computer, and like electricity just starts shooting from the computer and just electrocutes him to death. So then what happens next is basically they totally rip off Carrie. Mary Lou changes the vote back to Vicky. Vicky ends up winning prom queen. She gets up on stage. Bill, the principal, needs to put an end to this. He has a gun. He climbs up above the stage where he was 30 years earlier throwing the stink bomb down. This time he's up there with a gun. In front of the entire prom party, the entire senior class and chaperones and teachers, he shoots and kills Vicky right there on the stage. Vicky falls dead on the stage, right there in front of everyone. Everyone's, oh my God! And everyone sees Bill up there. He's got a gun! Oh! And then Mary Lou's burnt body climbs out of Vicky's dead body. Just climbs out. Everyone's freaking out, screaming. There's mayhem everywhere. And Mary Lou starts using Carrie-style telekinesis on the crowd. Obviously, it's not as cool as the scene in Carrie, but she starts killing everyone with her telekinesis. And as people die, she starts healing. And her burns start going away, and then all her burns end up healing, and she ends up looking like the Mary Lou that she was before she got burnt 30 years earlier. So all this mayhem happens. Craig is there as well. In the end, what happens is Bill, the principal, takes Mary Lou's tiara, puts it on Mary Lou's head. Mary Lou all of a sudden becomes happy and peaceful, and she just starts making out with Bill. And Bill and Mary Lou are teleported back to 1957, and they're there dancing while all the crowd is around them. And then the giant wardrobe case that had Mary Lou's belongings in it closes shut. So you're believed that Mary Lou and Bill are pulled into the giant wardrobe case. The end, right? Kind of. Basically, Craig hears knocking on the wardrobe case. He opens it up. Vicky comes out. So Vicky was trapped in the wardrobe case this whole time, since the point that she was pulled into the blackboard to this point, she was trapped in the wardrobe case. Bill, the principal, shows up. Apparently, he wasn't pulled into the wardrobe case. Him, Craig, and Vicky leave the building, leave the school. There's cops everywhere. There's survivors everywhere. Everyone's concerned. There's a bunch of police officers outside, and one of the cops are saying, "I don't know what went on here, but I know something strange happened here." Apparently, Bill can just walk free. Everyone at prom saw the principal shoot Vicky, and then some crazy zombie-like body crawl out of Vicky's body and then start attacking everyone. But for some reason, everyone's okay letting Vicky and the principal just walk free out of the school. In fact, no one even points at them. "Oh my God, it's them." No one runs in fear. No one says anything. They can just leave. Basically, Craig and Vicky get in the back seat of the car. Bill then gets in the front seat of the car. And then the music is playing on the radio that makes Vicky and Craig realize that Bill is not himself. He's actually Mary Lou. Bill turns around, says his line, and he turns back and drives off. And in case you weren't aware, they also put Mary Lou's name on the license plate. And basically, you're led to believe that Bill is Mary Lou and that the two main characters in the movie are going to die at some point off in the distance while the car drives away. I just want to point out, this is the second movie that Michael Ironside was in, where it ends with another person in his body. You have the movie Scanners, where it ended with the main character in his body. And now you have this movie with Mary Lou in his body. Honestly, I think it would have been funny if the filmmaker changed the line and decided to have him say the final line of Scanners to the kids. I think that would be hysterical. And the kids are scared in the back, and he turns around and is like, "We won." And then he just turns back and then drives off. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense to the story, but to like the regular viewer who is a fan of Scanners, I think that would have been a really fun addition to the movie, but that's not how it was. But, you know, it was still a fun ending, honestly. Well, that is the movie Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Honestly, it's a fun one. It's super silly, super campy, but it's also dark. It subverts your expectations quite a bit. And, you know, this movie, you know, starts out super silly, super campy, super fun, and then after the scene when she gets pulled into the chalkboard, the movie gets quite dark. There's a tonal shift in the film. And there's a story behind that. Apparently, the studio didn't like the first cut of the film, and they made the filmmaker reshoot a bunch of the movie. And also, the way the story goes is that the filmmaker even spoke to Wes Craven, and Wes Craven gave him a bunch of tips. And, you know, that kind of adds up. It makes sense. Because the first half of this movie is super silly, and then after a certain point in the movie, when she gets pulled into the chalkboard, there's a complete tonal shift in the movie. It really does feel like two movies in one. Like the first half, super silly. The second half is quite dark. And that just honestly adds to the experience of this movie. This movie didn't have to be this good. Didn't have to be this enjoyable. It's actually really enjoyable. It's silly and dumb in places, but quite enjoyable. So that is exactly the reason why I recommend that you watch Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Bye.